I should probably start by giving some of the backstory around these coins and this concept of giving me coins. So first of all, Shiba Inu, as you said, is this kind of knockoff of Dogecoin, right? And Dogecoin was this initial kind of fun coin that was created back, I think, around 2014 or so, and it was just created by Jackson Palmer and like put it out as a joke for a couple of hours, and a community formed around it, and at the beginning, people didn't take it very seriously. I actually remember putting about $25,000 into Doge sometime around 2016, and I just remember just thinking to myself, like, okay, how am I going to explain to my mom that I just invested $25,000 into dog coins? And
Yeah.
like, what even are dog coins? Like, the only interesting thing about this coin is that there's, a logo of a dog somewhere. But, of course, that ended up being one of the best investments I've ever made. And it did really well. And then at the end of 2020, Elon Musk, of course, started talking about Dogecoin. And the market cap just like shot up to about $50 billion. Actually, and it shot up multiple times, right? Like the first time it went up from about 0.8 cents to about like 7 cents. And this just happened all in one day. And I remember this was when I was still in Singapore in the middle of COVID. And I saw that the price just went up by 1,000%. And I was like, oh my God, my Doge is worth like a lot. I managed to sell the Doge at the top, and I remember just feeling like I was such an amazing trader. But then, of course, the price went up from 4 cents, then to 7, and then 50, and just like Doge becoming this big phenomenon where there's even a lot of people that have heard of Doge that have not heard of Ethereum. It's just like something even I wasn't predicting, right? And so after that, of course, we have Doge, and then people are thinking, well, if the leading dog token is worth $50 billion, then surely the second largest dog token deserves, at least 7 or 8 billion, right? Like, I feel like that's kind of what the mindset of these Shiba people is. So then, of course, they did this other gimmick, right, where they gave me half the Shiba token supply. Now, at the time, I actually did not even like have any idea of how much you would be able to get, right? Because like on paper, the dog tokens are $7 billion, but like in reality, it's a very illiquid market. Are you going to crash it by after you sell 1 million worth? Are you going to crash it after 10 million? Are you going to might you actually be able to get like an entire 200 million? I had no idea. So I definitely was just of the mindset like, okay, I'll sell a bit, maybe get some ETH, and then, donated some ETH to GiveWell, donated some to other groups, and then, okay, have some dog tokens. Like, I don't have an easy ability to sell more myself, but then I'll just like give them to these groups, and like, hopefully they'll do good things with them. It was actually, I actually donated 20% and dumped 80%. Yeah, so the COVID India group got one batch, and then there's another group that got another batch. And I don't want to say who they are because I think they want to announce themselves at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's, you can see the fact that these transactions were made on the blockchain. But no, it was just very interesting and unexpected, and just an insanely crazy situation. I'm sure there's some things that I probably could have done better. Like I was actually talking to some of these charities, and I was impressed by just how much money they managed to get out of selling some of these coins. So I probably could have done better by just like talking more with traders and actually ensuring that that they can do a better job of maximizing the value of all of them. But like, it was this very stressful time, and I did have to act quickly. Like I did manage to make a lot of the donations before, like a few days before the great crypto crash happened. So it was, and it's difficult to like. Obviously, there's parallel universes in which I did better, but at the same time, there's also lots of parallel universes where, because I hesitated more and tried to spend more time thinking, I missed the opportunity. So, on net, it's like a luck of the draw, and I'm just, happy that everything was able to turn out as well as it did. But I was actually impressed. Like for every poster that was saying like, no, why did Vitalik like rug pull on us? His wallet was supposed to be a burn address. There's like 10 people that are like, oh, I thought I was just in this because it's a fun pyramid gambling thing, but instead I ended up being part of this, great public good thing for humanity, and that's like even more amazing. So the amount of that I got was very uh, impressive. So all in all, I think the dog people did great.
The dog people.
A big one for me is just this idea that crypto, isn't just an opportunity to give people like slightly better ways to save value and all of these things. Like it's also an opportunity to like basically create these like new digital institutions that could like serve the public good in new ways. And that's something that I've been interested in for a long time. I actually even have this article in Bitcoin Magazine back in 2014 where I basically suggested this idea that you would have coins that represent causes, and like people would just like buy and accept those coins because they support those causes. So I think it's called Markets, Institutions, and Currencies: A New Form of Social Incentivization or something like that. And I'm sure you can find it and throw it in the links. So that was interesting to kind of see becoming real. And like in general, right, I think public goods are very important, and on the internet public goods are even more important. One of the kind of philosophical things that I hope to achieve is kind of decouple the concept of public goods, which are incredibly important and are the lifeblood of modern civilization, from the idea that there like is or can be one central organization that represents the public and like perfectly understands and can impose their idea of what is the good, right? Like it's when people talk about public goods, like it just often comes with this baggage of either centralization or conformism, and right. I think like it doesn't have to, right? Like often the most important public goods are the ones that are created by the crazy individualists that disagree with everyone else. So trying to make this kind of synthesis where you combine the values of decentralization and the values of open source, but you're not naive about it, and like you realize that for these things to be produced, there needs to be a way for it to be sustainable. There needs to be some way of supporting people who are working these projects, but at the same time, you want to avoid that turning into a vector of centralization, like trying to sort of get all of the good things without the bad things. To me, that's a big part of sort of what my grand experiment in crypto is about. Like there's the Gitcoin grants quadratic funding in the Ethereum ecosystem. There's obviously these dog coins that just happens, like I guess accidentally. There's other projects that, like for example, Uniswap has their Uniswap DAO that just has a huge amount of funding, and like we haven't seen yet how that's going to be deployed, but it could be potentially deployed to do lots of really good and amazing things.